on the mission. A mission. Today is the day. Jug nation. Let's take it away. All the way to the top. We gotta ride. Gotta rise. Gotta ride.
As we go forward, our watchwords are creativity and innovation. And our method is one of collaboration, drawing on all available expertise so that the best decisions can be taken in Jamaica's interest.
And with that mandate, the Ministry of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining, MSTEM, executed a progressive agenda for calendar year 2012. Important policies were strengthened, key pieces of legislation were brought to the table, new programs were introduced, and old ones advanced.
I want to position the ICT sector as a sector in its own right. This sector provides the greatest opportunities for Jamaica in terms of job creation, economic growth, and foreign exchange earnings.
A major achievement came when the ministry opened up the Montego Bay Free Zone to competition in June, breaking the monopoly once held by Jamaica Digiport International Limited, a subsidiary of Lime Jamaica. This effectively completed the liberalization of the telecommunications industry and supported government's push for a greater share of the business process outsourcing BPO market.
We have started work on creating a common government-wide area network, which will aim to harmonize and to integrate all ministries, departments and agencies in one overall public sector communications network, presided over by a Chief Information Officer. We envision that GovNet will be the vehicle through which information interoperability and the seamless transfer of information between ministries, departments and agencies of government and other stakeholders will be realized.
With increased ICT usage, already government has seen marked improvements in its operations, particularly in bill payment and tax collection. A Science and Technology Innovations Roadmap was also completed in 2012 to advance the island's move towards integrating scientific and technological innovations in all spheres. A Community Access Point project was also introduced to further integrate the use of ICT in Jamaica. Computers with high-speed internet were installed at over 118 public institutions, including community centers, libraries, post offices, and schools.
Access puts you in the game. Many of our youngsters, some of them who don't have the applications, academic work, they may have the aptitude to build applications and to develop solutions, but we have to expose them to the technology.
Several ICT-related pieces of legislation were announced, drafted or passed in 2012. Parliament approved amendments to the Telecommunications Act, making it easier for investors to enter the Jamaican market through the sharing of telecoms infrastructure. The Act also changed the way the levy on telephone calls could be utilized and formed the Universal Service Fund to oversee the monies received. Meanwhile, public consultations on the draft number portability rules were done, the feedback examined, and the revised document is currently being readied for perusal by the Chief Parliamentary Council. Work was fast-tracked on the Cybercrimes and the Data Protection Acts, and the Minister expects to table both in Parliament before the end of financial year 2012-2013. In 2012, Science and Technology Minister Philip Paulwell reinstated the Minister's Innovation Awards, which rewards outstanding individuals and institutions for their inventions.
We believe that the focus, the absolute preoccupation going forward must be with utilizing science and technology.
In March 2012, the Energy Minister set up a bipartisan group to facilitate the speedy implementation of the country's energy strategy. The Jamaica Energy Council, JEC, quickly got down to organizing consultation among key stakeholders to expedite implementation of Jamaica's National Energy Policy 2009 to 2030.
This is not going to be a talk shop. This body is going to have the power to assist in the implementation of the reams and reams of discussions, conclusions that we've had in the past. We now need to implement, and I think that ought to be the mission at hand.
The ministry also launched the Public Sector Conservation and Efficiency Program to reduce Jamaica's energy bills, starting with government entities.
Today, we as government are making a clear and unequivocal statement. We must slash our energy bill. And we must do so first by conserving and improving efficiency.
With a $20 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank, the program should save roughly $2.6 billion in public sector electricity costs annually. Energy diversification efforts were also intensified in 2012, with the ministry modifying its role in the introduction of liquefied natural gas to the island.
It is the considered view of the government that the electricity and alumina producers would have much more flexibility in the procurement of fuel supplies and could use their international leverage to get the best possible prices. Government therefore will remove itself from the process of fuel source selection and instead focus on creating the legislative and regulatory framework which we aim to establish and promulgate during this fiscal year.
Meanwhile, the country's renewable energy market was fully liberalized and open to competition when the Petroleum Corporation of Jamaica's exclusive right to develop renewable energy in Jamaica was rescinded. It means potential investors no longer need to partner with or seek approval from the PCJ to pursue renewable energy projects. And the Latin American energy organization OLADE opened its Caribbean sub-regional office in Jamaica in August to facilitate greater cohesion and the exchange of ideas among the 9 Caribbean nations it serves. The Energy Ministry also carried out work under the Low Carbon Energy Roadmap for Small Island States in the Caribbean project. Minister Paulwell also made strides in his goal of electricity liberalization with the introduction of power wheeling. It allows private power generating facilities to utilize the national grid to supply their locations elsewhere with electricity for what's called a wheeling fee. Meanwhile, the net billing initiative was introduced, allowing small businesses and domestic generators of electricity to sell their excess power to the national grid. Despite the continued downturn in the global market for bauxite and alumina, the mining ministry continued to see glimmers of hope in the sector during 2012. In October, the ministry saved 600 jobs when it secured a deal to keep Windalco's Yuaton bauxite plant open. Windalco's parent company, UC Rosal, agreed to invest $100 million to build a coal-fired electricity generating plant at Yuaton. In return, the government waived levy fees for a year.
The company has advised that work on this plant will commence with engineering at the end of the first quarter in 2013, and it will be completed by 2015, and during the construction phase will employ 800 persons.
The ministry is also having discussions with UC Rosal with a view to reopening their other Jamaican locations, Kirkvine in Manchester and Alpart in St. Elizabeth.
To maximize our revenue earnings from the mining sector, we must diversify the sector by developing the full potential of our industrial minerals.
To that end, research has begun to determine the viability of producing hydrates and high-value specialty alumina. Research also began on underutilized minerals such as limestone, hard volcanic rocks, gypsum, clay, and shale. And even as the ministry made strides in maximizing the earnings from the mining sector, the environment remained at the forefront of all deliberations. The draft mining policy was completed, and modernization of the legislative and regulatory framework of the industry continued in 2012. Additionally, the ministry held a series of stakeholder workshops on a draft hillside development manual. The manual sets guidelines for improving hillside development practices in Jamaica. In the island's Jubilee year, the Minister of Science, Technology, Energy and Mining challenged Jamaicans with a call for unity and action.
Once all of us can unite around the common objectives we have defined, we will solve our energy problem, we'll enhance the role of science, technology and innovation in production to add value, and achieve the same level of success in transforming the Jamaican economy as we have in other fields of endeavor.
I'm on a mission. A mission. Today is the day. Start your ignition. Let's take it away.